have a little journey next to Lake Hornidal. And on, no, actually we are starting with the panorama road. Yeah, sorry, my apologies. So we're gonna start with the best one. The view to the Nordfjord, which is a wonderful fjord, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna love the view. We're gonna have 2 photo stops on that panorama road, and then we're gonna take a small extra stop in Strun, because that's the only place where we can have toilets, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to hold anything you have for 3 hours, because we are planning to come back at 1 p.m. Of course, it all depends on the traffic. Our amazing driver is Oddvar. Let's have a huge applause for him. Woo! Great. Bravo. So he is actually coming from this region, so he knows probably every road in Nordfjord, or almost every road. What's more important for us, he knows the road in and out from Nordfjord, because there are only 2 roads altogether. We're gonna take today both. We are bus number 23, so just please, whenever we stop, especially in Strun or where there are other buses, just make sure you're coming back to this bus. We are 50 people on board. That's a quite huge group, so please be careful when I say 10 minutes photo stop. I don't care if you're coming back to the bus at 9 minutes 59 seconds, but definitely 10 minutes doesn't mean 15 minutes, so I can understand a bit of delay, but we need to keep the schedule also, because your fellow tourists on the cruise ship, they're gonna have with us also a second tour, so we would really not like to cut their tour just because we have delay with the first one, and already is gonna be like when we're coming back, you get out of the bus, of course it will be a bit rechecked if anybody left here anything, and it's already the meeting time for the next group, not the leaving time but the meeting time, so of course we can be late, but not too much, because then the other group will have the problem. So the little city of Nordfjord is quite important for people who are, oh yeah, and the most important, sorry, above all, please fasten your seat belts if you haven't done so, because in Norway it's obligatory. And although the policemen are quite handsome, but you cannot talk yourself out of it no matter how much you smile. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I tried. And I speak Norwegian, so it wasn't a linguistic difficulty. So basically this bus is a public bus, what we are sitting in, so that's why you can see, like, please show your tickets. Also it's written also here in Norwegian that det är påbud att bruka seatbälte i bussen, so it's yeah, you have to wear the seatbelt. Like Frida Billag is one of the biggest in Norway, so if you ever visit our country, not with a cruise ship, but you take like public transport, for example for Nordfjord or from Strun, then it's very probable that you will be able to see these buses. Is the temperature okay in the bus? Okay. Please, when we are having the photo stop, just be careful because the floor can be quite slippery here. Also, the stairs are a bit steep, so we are not in a hurry. We started exactly on time. So when you're getting out of the bus, just make sure that you pay attention. I'm gonna call your attention to that. So Nordfjord is a little city of 3,000 people, but it's very important. It has, for example, no, there was at least 5 millimeters between the two vehicles. Yeah, that's more than enough. Anything above 0 is good. The same is with temperatures. Here summer starts between 13 degrees and 18 degrees, so today we have definitely summer. It's a bit rainy, but I'm always telling my guests that the reason why everything is so green in Norway is because it's raining. Although this week had been extraordinary, and many of the rivers and waterfalls that had been hardly visible, now you'll be able to see them on the mountains. So yesterday and today, quite often, apart from the fact that there's not much snow in the mountains, the view of the waterfalls, it's like if we were in May or beginning of June. I don't know, where had you been before? Yesterday, where was your ship? Bergen! Was it raining? Well, that's the tradition there, so you saw the authentic view of Bergen. I lived there nine and a half years ago, and that was the rainiest in the past, back then, 30 years. So after 11 months I've moved to Ålesund, which is a beautiful city. Maybe you have visited it or will be visiting.
Yes.
Where do you go after Nordfjord? Oh, that's actually all that you're gonna see it today, because we're gonna when we're gonna drive into Strøm to enjoy the toilet facilities, then you will be able to see a glimpse of Olden. Maybe also there's also there today a cruise ship. Oh, okay. Then later on, I'm gonna give you some recommendation what you can do from Olden, because that's a pier that we are visiting quite a lot as guides. We guides are sent everywhere, so to Geiranger, to Ålesund, to Olden, to Molde, basically anything less than 3 hours drive one way. So but that well, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I learn languages on the drive, so I still haven't decided what will be my next language. You can maybe inspire me. I know that okay, what should be the next language? Hindi. Okay. The writing isn't a bit complicated? No. Yeah, of course. Okay. Okay. Portuguese? Okay, I speak a bit Portuguese, but I'm not fluent. I was volunteering there for 3 months near Sintra, so it's a beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So okay. That's I was meaning the European Portuguese. Brazilian. It's oof, if you speak Spanish, maybe you understand a bit easier. Okay. So bem-vindo. Well, you can convince me about the next language I would need to learn during the breaks and photo stops. So right now we're gonna across the little village of Lote, which is crucial for people who want to, for example, reach Bergen on land and not with a cruise ship. And what you can also see here, there is a ferry that connects the two sides of the fjord, and it's a special ferry. Very soonishly you will able to see a big white column next to the ferry parking, and it is an electric charger because these ferries are electric. And let's see if he's gonna be polite, this driver, more or less. So of course Norway tries to be as sustainable as possible, and also reducing the CO2 emission. So many of the old ferry routes now they are building charging station, and just converting the places for the electric ferries. This is one example. It takes about 30 minutes for, no, 2 hours. Oh, now I'm confused how long it does for the ferry to get charged. But anyway, it's about 20 minutes until the ferry crosses this little distance. Right now I'm just, yeah, so here you can see on the left side this white column, that's the ferry charger. So right now the ferry is arriving. It's for pedestrians and also cars as well, and also for buses. Well, of course it would be easier to build a bridge, but sometimes the fjord is too deep and the circumstances are not perfect for it, or people just want to support locals who have a job opportunity by working on the ferry. Do you have electric ferries in your home? No. About to start in New Zealand. Oh my god, from here, from New Zealand? Yeah! Oh my god. Like, but you're gonna see some similarities. Yeah! And then you're gonna wonder why the hell crossed I the whole world. Yeah, to meet you. Well, actually there are many similarities with Norway and New Zealand, and for example the landscape of Norway, the writer of The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, was inspired by Scandinavia generally, and Norway and Iceland also about the language. And then Peter Jackson actually wanted to shoot the movie here, but that the cost would have been just too high, so they searched for a new location and they ended up in New Zealand. So guys, if you like Norway, next time, New Zealand.
We have a travel agent here if anyone wants to book their tours to this is the best.
So believe it or not, this road that connects Nordfjord, the city that we started our journey, to Strøn, which is the, I would say, the second biggest and most important city in this area, if not the most. This road wasn't completed until 2006, which is very recent. There existed, of course, a small path, but there wasn't a proper road with a tunnel until that time. And the first big scandal happened mid of the 20th century, where a little girl was ill, and during winter time she needed to be sent to the hospital. So then 5 people helped the horses in order to push it through, and the vehicle as well, to Nordfjord. And of course finally she managed to get the hospital, and of course got cured. But it showed a big scandal, and the local newspaper wrote about it, and then they started to build the road. This is the easy part of the road, I would say, next to the fjord, but the continuation, we're gonna cross a quite steep and high area. That's why it's also called the panoramic route. We're gonna reach about 600 meters of elevation, so close to 2,000 feet. And it's only one thing about the height, but the steepness of the lands there, the farms, it really had meant a challenge throughout these centuries. Of course, people had been living around the fjord area as soon as the last ice age ended. So Norway, believe it or not, but had 40 ice ages altogether. The first started about 2.5 million years ago. Can you even imagine? I cannot imagine more than 100 years. So for me it's difficult to put it in my mind. And then back then, before the ice ages, the landscape of Norway was flat as, I would say, a pancake, let's say an American pancake. And then of course ice has this characteristic that its volume is bigger than water. So as soon as there were small splits in in the mountains and in the rocks, whenever the temperature dropped below zero, the moistureness, the water just froze over, and it started to split the rocks and the mountains. These erosion you can still see today, but actually first the rivers, they carved these V-shaped valleys, and then the glaciers, once the temperature became warmer, they started to slide towards always the lowest point, and they were carving out these beautiful U-shaped valleys, and as soon as they reached below sea level and started to melt more, the sea basically reconquered the area. So this this creation of the fjord is not finished, of course, because new ice ages will come. So the Nordfjord, the Geiranger, all the famous fjord gonna become deeper and deeper. They're gonna cut deeper in the landscape. But about 12,000 years ago, that huge ice sheet that covered Norway started to become thinner and thinner, and about 10,000 years ago it already enabled that the first people settled in the area. They were actually still continuing a nomadic lifestyle, so they were gathering fruits from the forest, they were hunting, they were making traps, and they realized that the fjord area is very rich in fishes, and fish means protein, so that meant on a long time survival for the first people here. The first people that arrived to the north part of the country were the Samis, and they had been also having their reinherds later on. They have been basically wandering and roaming with them whenever the reindeers were looking for new food, which they under the snow they have a very specific smelling, so they can find the moose quite easily. And then slowly people got settled and started to build the first villages. Nordfjord, where we started our journey, is also a very ancient settlement. You can find also here tools from the Viking age, and also a ship had been found. Their replica is possible to see at the Sagastad Museum, which is just a few minutes walking from here. And I would really heartfully suggest you, if you don't have any other plans for the afternoon, to go there, because you can also download an audio guide in English, well, the most of the European languages. I'm not sure about Portuguese or Hindi, but English is possible, and also some other language like French, Spanish, Portuguese, German, they have it. So you might be able to listen to the guide also in your mother tongue. And now that we are driving higher, I will have to ask you, are you afraid of height? No. If yes, you will get used to it. The next 40-45 minutes we're gonna drive through this beautiful landscape. What I have to emphasize, because I know that some of you are familiar with the fjord landscape, on our right side this is fjord, so it has direct connection with the sea. It is salty water, so this is just the extension of the sea, like it was like small fingers just carving the way out in the landscape. And they are pretty steep because the glaciers, they carve the deepest at this area, so you will see quite a lot of vertical mountain landscape, and that's why it's so dramatic, the view in Norway, because you see the exact height of the mountains from the sea level. So you can even kind of guess the height of the mountain by comparing to the timberline. The timberline is when basically after that you won't see any trees in a country. At this area it's about 900 meter, So when you don't see any more trees on the side of the mountain, it can mean that the mountain is already higher than 900 meter. And we're gonna arrive to the beautiful areas of small village and really steep farms. And on the right side you can see these white balls. They are silages. Basically a tractor is cutting the grass, collecting them afterwards, and then it's packaging it automatically in these white silages, and the packaging is fermenting the grass, so about 3-4 weeks you cannot give to the animals, so usually just leave it on the field. But this is the modern method on the landscape, which is actually flat enough for these vehicles. But if the area is too steep, that they can usually cut it with some machines, but then what they are doing is they are hanging it in wooden rakes. This is the old method still in use, because otherwise the tractor would just flip over. And this they look like grass walls. You will see it from time to time, hopefully still on the right side. If they were, I mean, now it had been raining the last 2 days, so actually probably they would be taken in the farmhouses, because we had like the last 4 days quite heavy rain. But in case you will see anything that looks like a grass wall, this is the so-called hascia. And nowadays not that much, but in the old days it was essential to have hascia for the animals for winter, because hay was the food for the animals. And people needed to have quite often summer farms or summer fields in order to gather enough hay for the winter time. And each village had a woman who was called the hascia woman, who had to be careful, always watching for the weather, and when the rain was on the way they had to quickly gather the hay in. Also they built this hay rake in a special way. The uppermost part was the thickest, in order when a sudden rain comes, it wouldn't, like the drops wouldn't sink into deep into this grass wall. But of course a heavy rain like we had been having yesterday and the day before, no matter how you construct this grass wall, you have to put it in the barn, because otherwise it gets wrong. So this area's life hadn't been easy here. The steep mountainside, whenever you needed to go somewhere, of course, rarely people have been using the mountain pass, just in case they need to especially go to a certain neighbor. The main communication route, not just the past century, but until I mean since the beginning of people's settlement, it had been with boats. I mean, as the first time they had already boats. And now you can see we already arrived to the neighboring community, Strun. So we are just halfway on our drive. Strun, yes. The Ypsilon, or sorry, what is it called? Y, yeah. So the Y, you pronounce it a bit similar like U, but basically if you try, it's an U, but quite often if you try to say E, but you, I don't know how to explain it well. We can maybe just later on ask Odvar. He's the mother tongue native from the region. It lasted me for a while to learn the E pronunciation, and still small Norwegian children always make fun of me when I'm pronouncing it. So basically people used the boats whenever they needed to go to church, because it wasn't any church built until the early, closer to mid-20th century here. So as you can see, here is also a photo possibility, but actually we have two more that are way nicer. So the first one will be at Nos, which is an area you can see also this side of the fjord and more towards the Nordfjord when it's closer to Strøn. So that's why we decided also that we want to be the first bus there, so we have the possibility to enjoy the viewpoint alone. So this fjord on our right side, the Nordfjord, is the 6th longest fjord of Norway, 106 kilometers long, and at its deepest point it's 525 meters, so over 1,700 feet. And the more closer we go to the mainland, the shallower the fjord gets, and the last innermost part of that fjord is called Innvik Fjord, and that's where you're gonna drive in with your cruise ship tomorrow, because that's where the little village of Olden is located. It's basically the heart of the glacier landscape. From time to time, when the clouds and fog vanishes from the mountain tops, you will able to see some glaciers, because winter had been cold but not so rich in snow, and whatever was left already melted. So if you're not afraid of height, you can now look to the left and see where people of Hopland have been living. It's a small area divided by a river. So just imagine someone lives next to the fjord and one has to go to school during winter time. And then they had to climb up all the way, all the mountain paths, or maybe just go with the boat somewhere else to school. There exists nowadays a school here next to this road, and there's a school bus collecting the children every morning. On the left you can see also a small shooting area. So now we already at Randabygda. So Hopland and Randabygda, they are basically the same area, just divided by a small stream, or call it river if you want. For me it's only a stream. And you will be able to see throughout our journey several houses with the so-called Torfdak, grass roof, that had been essential since the Viking Age for people to have a house that is well insulated, and also which roof is waterproof. But the grass is not the most important ingredient. The most important part of the Torfdak is the dried birch bark. And here on the left you can see some of the Torfdak. I'm pretty sure it's done on the modern way, so there's pretty sure a plastic sheet just under it, under the dried birch bark. But the dried birch bark made the roof waterproof. And here on the right you can see this small wooden building. You can see that they are on wooden stands, and there will be one small stair missing actually, so you cannot step directly in on a step in the building. That is the so-called stabbure. And the school, yeah, I'm pretty sure at the school you would be motivated to learn mathematics if you have a view like that every day. So the stabbur was the storage house, so that's why one stair is always missing, in order that the mouse and small animals could not jump in the house. And they usually are built actually not even on wood but on stone, because when there is a lot of snow, the wood gets rotten quite easily after a few years. So you'll be able to see that many of the buildings are built at first on stone, and then comes the floor from wood. Also, this is a really narrow road, and Oddvar is doing a great job. I would come here probably with a bicycle. I mean, I have my driving license, but you are much better off with Oddvar, I have to tell you.
So I've had many chances to come to Nordfjord, and on the last one, the weather decided to be beautiful. Okay. We have a bit of sunshine there. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. Nordfjord.
Rahul, you guys want to stand together?
Thank you.
Of course, you know, right.
Oh.
One with mine is
Yeah.
okay.
Not the best of weathers. But what to do, what to do. Norway. Not the best stop. So, today is a beautiful day, gray sky. I've had the opportunity to go out for an excursion, but the weather at the moment, it's rainy and stormy. The state of the sea has been stormy, and it is forecasted to be the same this entire week. So, and this is the last week we come to Norway, so we are not the luckiest people, because we said we would visit this place on the last week. Now this is the weather that we have, but what to do, we make do with what we have. So I will click some pictures and do a short vlog, and let's see what, I hope the narrative will be straight. I don't want to film where people are, so I just came in front of the bus. We were coming through very scenic routes, and Norway has like amazing tunnels. So I think this is the 5th, if not the 6th tunnel we passed through, and some you'll see on the video that I'll post after this. And we need to look for music to accompany it. So our 10 minutes are over, and now we go back and to the next stop. See ya. Stick. Hey, next stop, and here we are. The viewpoint of the fjords. Very beautiful, by the way. Let me look for someone to take a picture of me and then go back to the bus. Nordfjord. 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 N-O-R-J N-O-R-D F-J-O-R-D Nordfjord. And then E-I-D Dead. So this is where we are. The weather is still grey, very grey. It was raining, but now it has stopped. And nothing much today. Nothing much, an easy day. Being driven around in a bus. And we give thanks. Tired. I want to go back and sleep. Oh, I'll sleep on my way back. So I hope the route we take on the left side, I will get some good views, because the side I was seated, there are not so many good views, just mountainside. The people who are seated on the right are the people who enjoyed beautiful views, but still it was foggy, and in the morning it was drizzling, but now it has stopped, but the sky is still gray. So this is the last time we are here this year, at least, or this season. I don't know if the universe will let me come back, and if I do, I will try make the most out of it. And we saw a Tesla charging point. A Tesla charging point. So a Tesla charging point, you charge your Tesla for free. You charge in another place, you pay. And here there are so many electric vehicles. And we were making a joke that Tesla for all, Tesla for everyone program, you know, because so many people have electric vehicles. And this is Stryn. This is Stryn, yeah?
Yes,
Stryn, S-T-R-Y-N. And pretty peaceful, very quiet. Nothing much. Let me look for that. Excuse me. Where is that Tesla charging point? Where is it? Could you point me?
What?
The Tesla charging point. The Tesla.
Wow.
It's
just behind those houses.
behind those houses.
When we're gonna drive
Back.
I don't know.
I can make it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let me go there, show you, and show you also the map, one by one. Because if I say I'll come back this way, I probably won't. Mazda. So, this is the tourist information. Oslo, Alesund. So we have been here in Alesund. We have been in Maløy. In Bergen. We were here yesterday, but the weather was so bad. Bergen weather. Very windy and very stormy. Very dark. So this is the weather. The waves. The waves in the middle of the sea were very rough. Oh, it's very windy now. Here my hand. Nice. The storm. Bergen. Our last city. Norway. We go to a new location. But today I wanted to go out and see penguins, but not possible, not possible. It's very cold, by the way. Let me show you the other side. Very good. There's normally a place you can go up there with a cable car, but I don't think it is possible today. Today nothing is impossible. Nothing is possible. Nothing is possible today. Look at that. Rough sea. Yeah. I think this will be the last time in Bergen. For this year at least. We don't know if next year we'll come here. But for this year, bye bye Bergen. So bad we couldn't go out. And these are the best places to go if you ever find yourself in Nordfjord. 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 I have a picture of this place. So these are the attractions. So you have Skala, Mount Skala. You can see people here sunbathing, and you can see some ice. And then you have Brisker Glacier. Very nice. I wanted to go to this one or this one, but logistics did not allow. Leon Skylift. Wow, this looks very beautiful. Hijale. Very nice. So let me take a picture for Google Maps. Strine Commune. Hopefully if we ever come back here, I'll be able to come back and see Strine. So this is where we are, and I have this picture, similar picture to that. Strine. Okay, let me show you the electric, the Tesla electric powering point, charging point. And what time is it? Almost. I have 6 minutes, 7 minutes. And I've realized here in Europe they are really marketing the Pepsi Max. They're marketing like they're doing a serious. This is a Strine red Mazda van. They are doing like a vigorous marketing campaign for Pepsi Max, and even here they are promoting the Pepsi Max. I am certain this is an electric Mercedes-Benz. I saw an electric Jaguar, but I don't know if that is a Jaguar. But look at this Toyota Hilux. Look at those wheels. There is a vehicle I saw in Alden, Survival of the Fittest, Charles Darwin. Wow, this is an 8-wheel. The wheel, Arctic trucks. So the other truck I saw was Arctic Beast. Now this is Arctic trucks. Let me take a quick picture. And see, stops. Very nice. This you can, if you have this in Africa, And then you're doing the South African, from Nairobi to South Africa tour. This would be really nice. Yeah. So I regretted not taking the video of the Arctic beast. I only took pictures. I think I took a small video, but not like a comprehensive one. So this is a Tesla charging point here in Strine. So if you have a Tesla and you're charging here, it is free. Yeah? Tesla charging point. And then you can even charge another vehicle that is not a Tesla. And I wonder how long it takes for it to fully charge, but that is information we can easily get on the internet. Also, that VW Volkswagen is an electric one. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. And this is an apartment. Nordfjord traffic. So now let me go back to that other side. So I brought the camera, but not so many chances of taking like nice pictures. And let me see what I can get. Okay, I can get something. It is not all lost. Yeah. Today I'm using one hand. So this is a struggle. If you're taking photos and you want to film, and today I don't have I have it in my bag, but no time to put it on my chest. So these are the struggles of trying to create content, both photo and video, using two different devices. And also the funny thing, I've not had like a good picture because I don't have anyone to take one of me. I don't want to bother people. And that is a Norwegian flag. Soon we'll be leaving Norway to another country that we will reveal when we get there. Coffee bar. We will reveal when we get there. But it is very empty. No one is there. This is like a park. I hope this vlog will have direction, because as I was editing like very many videos of different places, and others really don't have direction. They're just shots, and I am limited on resources. Mostly like music, graphics. Yes, so those are limiting.
Stand there. We want the whole lot.
The whole mountain.
Okay. Yeah.
Ballstad, 1875. Oh, that's an old lad. 10 things to see in the Nordfjord. So here is a list. I think this is information, tourist information. Glacier, the most popular glacier arm, one of the greatest, just Lodalen Valley, National Park Center, National Tourist, Mount Scala, Lake Honindasvase. Can you see it? Oh, so I'm filming myself. 10 things to see in Nordfjord. You have the Briskabren Glacier, Lodalen Valley, the National Park Center, summer ski, Mount Scala, Lake Honins. It is Europe's deepest lake at 514 meters deep. Wow. Fjord horse riding, Canstein Rock, Selja Monastery, built by Benedictine monks in the 12th century. Surfing at Stan, one of the bus. Yeah, okay. Okay. Tourist guide, Nordfjord. Email. Let me check this. English. This is? Yes, English. See the wildlife. And now, time to go back.
Carlo!
To our bus. And I think the vlog will pretty much end here. And if we get to the pier, I'll show you the sign. Nordfjord sign, and go sleep. So, bye for now.
Also, tomorrow, the reason why I would like to recommend you to visit the glaciers is because the glaciers in Norway are shrinking, most of them, because of the climate change. So my uncle visited in 2001 or 2002, I don't know, yeah, the Briksdal glacier. And back then, right now, the glacier is on the top of the mountain, a small tongue of it just sliding down on the side of the mountain, and there's a huge lake in front of it, a glacier lake. When my uncle visited it 20 or 21 years ago, the lake was covered with the glacier. He could touch it like this. And it's just 20 years, so it's very probable that in a few more years you will only able to access this glacier when you do a glacier hike, for which you have to hire a professional glacier hike, because it's something that's not so easy, because there are plenty of gorges as canyons inside of a glacier ice, so you cannot just simply walk up there. So the glaciers, I just want to mention so that you know that they have naturally growing and retreating, so they are periodically growing and getting smaller. But the last 20 years they are only getting shorter and shorter, and they're shrinking and shrinking. So it also depends, of course, there are many factors influencing the glacier. So it's not only if the winter is rich in snow, but usually when there is a big snowfall during the winter time and the summer is not too warm, so there is still snow remains from the winter, then the growth you can see in about 4 years on the Briksdal glacier, it regressed. So of course one can say it's not just the climate change, but we all see how the summer is changing in Scandinavia. In the neighbor country in Sweden, the last 30 years the summer had been extended by 30 days, so it means 1 day more each summer. In Norway you can see it also, for example, on cutting the grass. In the 70s, until the 70s, end of the 60s, it was possible usually 2 times to gather the hay, very sporadically 3rd time. And nowadays it's almost always 3 times, so it means like 3 times the grass can grow, and it's still so warm that you can cut it and you can dry it. Of course it's good for the animals, but it also means, for example, if there's a dry summer and a warm summer, that what happened in 2018, it was a record heat wave in Norway. I don't know the exact temperature for Strun, but for Linge it was 33 degrees Celsius. That was the highest temperature ever measured there. And this year in June we had temperatures between 25 and 29. So many of the waterfalls, before this huge rainfall we had this week, they just simply weren't visible. Like the 7 sisters in Geiranger, they were like 2 sisters, and it was even a joke for 2 sisters. Like they were like not even like a stream. So tourists came here, and then we had to explain that, you know, it depends how much snow melts and how quickly the snow sheet from the mountain is melting. So it's important for the water power plants that are connected. There are over almost 1,600 hydraulic plants are in Norway that cover 97% of the energy demand of the country. So Norway exports, of course, energy as well. And these power plants are connected with the melting snow of the waterfalls, because of course if all the snow melts in about 2 weeks, then it means that for the rest of the month the power plants are empty. They don't have enough water in these lakes or the area where they just collecting the water. So in 2018 what happened, that it said that per family they had to pay
Shede.